Stoppage time with IPJ and my main man, the blonde bombshell, the unicorn. That's right, John Buckets-Eimer. Now, Buckets, before we go any further, in case you haven't noticed yet, at the top of the show, when we do the war cry, that is a pre-recorded war cry. Because as people know from previous generations, when I did the war cry at home, it sounded like shit. So now I don't do it at home. Now my team behind the scenes, they just created a bit of magic. And all of a sudden, we got a war cry in the intro. How you doing, buddy?
Ian, I am doing well. I only figured that out because people in the comments of our YouTube video were saying, man, Ian, first two episodes, the exact same war cry. That's pretty crazy that he has that consistency, but I'm doing well today, man. I'm excited to be back as always, and we got some great fixtures coming up here.
I had one complaint that came in the comments, and it said, yo, the war cry, man, the war cry. Like, it's just the music's going over the top of the war cry. Like, I can't get the full feel. I'm like, yo, like, we're doing our best here right now, okay? We're not getting paid. There's no budget. We just got a great fucking team behind the scenes that's getting us out there on air. And we're giving an opportunity for people to enjoy our content. So hopefully you can enjoy the war cry. I did my best for you. If it's not good enough, don't worry. Sometime soon we'll be back, man. Buckets, it's great to check in with you. But you know what? Today's a special day. You know why?
I don't. Shoot.
Today is Hot Coco's birthday.
Happy birthday, Hot Coco. I'm assuming she already has won, 15 units betting today because she never misses her picks. But any big birthday plans? What's going on?
Well, as you know, last night when you were texting me in mid-conversation, I took a 30-minute break. And I texted you back immediately after that. And I said, listen, it's Hot Coco's birthday tomorrow. She needed some action, some birthday action before, I got back to the bucket timer on the text message chain. She'll be a bit embarrassed that I told you that. But at the same time, 30 minutes, maybe I'm being too kind to myself. Maybe it was more like 12 minutes, Buckets. But at the same time, I did get back to you at the end of the day. Happy birthday, Hot Coco. I love you, baby. Thank you for everything you do for us and our family and for all you do for the loyal listeners as well. We all fucking love you. Buckets, we got to review what happened this weekend because it was a crazy weekend, man. You got off to a flying start and then a little bit of disappointment at the end there because it looked like we were going to get a fucking sweep.
We were on our way to a sweep, Ian. We had 5 best bets, and we're doing this new format where instead of all 5 for the EPL on the weekend, we're spreading them out a bit. And I started with a fantastic bet in the Turkish Super League, Galatasaray versus Sivasspor, Wilfried Zaha to score or assist. We talked about he got stumped by Ivory Coast. He's probably going to be pissed off, and Galatasaray should score 3 or 4 here. Well, that did not happen. I think they ended up drawing that game 1-1, but Zaha did grab the assist to cash that first ticket to start us off to a 1-0, which is much better considering last week I went 0-4, Ian. So it felt good to get that first win here.
Run through the rest of the bets that happened all the way through there then.
Let's speed through these. Number 2 was Hull City versus Norwich, both teams to score and over 2.5 goal, which was probably one of my frankly luckier bets I've hit in a long time, considering that match was 0-0 in like the 80th minute, and we still cashed the BTTS and the over 2.5 to put us to 2-0. Then I had Aston Villa draw no bet against Everton. Bit of a bizarre matchup there. Ended up ending 0-0, which is really not like Aston Villa at all. A little bit like Everton, but we did get the push there, which moved me to 2 wins and 1 push. And then I lost 2 bets, Ian. And if I can be completely honest with you and our fantastic viewers, I don't remember what those losses were because I'm so ready to move on to find us more winners.
That's how we're doing it right now until we have more content available for everybody out there. Fuck the losers. We only talk about the winners. We did have that unfortunate push. I thought you were going to have that one as well, and you fucking deserved that one. It was really unfortunate. I was also a little bit unfortunate. You want to know why? Because for 92 motherfucking minutes, my best bet was about to hit for the second week in a row. I was on the relegation 6-pointer. It was Burnley against Luton Town. Burnley were minus 107 on the money line. Luton were plus 300. My bet was simply Burnley on that money line. And let me just tell you, there was an incident that took place in the 92nd motherfucking minute in that game that made me curse at my television. I may have threw something. I may have gone a little crazy. What happened was Adebayo backed into the goalkeeper, Trafford, and there was a cross coming into the box. He fouled the goalkeeper. The ball went kindly to the centre forward to put the ball in the back of the net, and that, of course, was Clinton Morris. And it was a simple header because the goalkeeper was down, clearly apprehended by the attacker. Now, at the same fucking time, video review came into play, and video review said nothing to the referee. Don't even go look at this. Didn't even offer the opportunity to go look at it. It was 110% a foul. on the goalkeeper. And I want to just read you a quick comment from Burnley boss Vincent Kompany. He needed these points in the 93rd minute to concede that equalizer, 92nd minute. He said, I expect the referee to see it. It was that obvious. None of the Luton players celebrated. Nobody. What are we doing? It's an absolute joke. Let me tell you something, Buckets. My words, if I was Vincent Kompany, would have been a lot more aggressive than his towards the officials, because video review made a huge mistake and the referee made a huge mistake that there's no way that this goal should have been disallowed. Sorry to everybody who missed your bet there. Hopefully people cashed out in time. It was the 92nd minute. There was 95 minutes or 5 minutes stoppage time added to that game. So we just missed out on getting that second bet, Buckets. It was close.
It was very close, but Ian, I feel like we're having the same conversations every single week now for the past 2 seasons in the Premier League. We have no consistency with how the referee standards are with taking looks at VAR and then enforcing VAR. It is continuously an issue, and especially in a matchup like this. Burnley missing out on what could have been a 6-point swing here with Luton dropping 3 and then gaining 3. This legitimately one decision could end up costing them their season in the Premier League. Obviously, plenty of season left to go. They can pick it up, they can take care of it. But that's the kind of mistakes that really cannot happen because it's much more than just losing your one bet. It is costing people their livelihoods, frankly, depending on how this goes now.
JJ Watt, for many people out there who don't know who JJ Watt is, he is an incredible NFL player, and Freya barks because she knows that JJ Watt was an incredible football player. He is part owner, minority owner, or part owner of Burnley Football Club, and he immediately dropped a tweet out there saying, what the fuck are we doing? That is 110% a foul. I have no idea how JJ Watt knows it's a foul because his job is basically to fucking blitz people in tackles. So, for fuck's sake, man, if he thinks it's a foul, then I think it's a foul. But at the same time, it's disappointing. And Buckets, you made a great point right there. This could cost Burnley relegation. Not just millions, hundreds of fucking millions. So that's desperately disappointing. Anyway, episode 2 blew us away. It was successful once again, Buckets. We had over 4,300. Now, I think this morning I checked, it was over 4,500 views on YouTube, which is what, Buckets? 4,500 views on YouTube on a video of ours?
That is a brand new record for any of our content we've ever done together, Ian. That is our most viewed video in Stoppage Time history right there.
We got over 60 comments. We got over 270 likes. The retweets, the comments on social media have been absolutely brilliant. We love to see the buzz. Our show is off to a tremendous start. And we have to thank each and every single one of you for playing a role in that because we didn't expect this type of response. We knew we were good. Let's be honest, because we know we're fucking good. But at the same time, we didn't realize it was going to get that type of traction as quickly as it did do. And we can't thank everybody enough. Buckets, you want to hear some comments?
Always, Ian. Always.
You're watching a game or something, right? You're on fucking something right now. Look at you. You're wired right now. You look like you're fucking doing something. What are you doing?
I'm a little bit anxious. I might have a bit of a wager in this Italiana Supercoppa matchup between Napoli and Fiorentina, and nothing gets my blood boiling more, Ian, than a missed penalty kick. Not even on target. It was an NFL perfect field goal, 30 feet above the goal, but I'm focused. I'm zoning in. Let's hear some comments.
As we record this right now, Copa del Rey action is taking place. Barcelona were 1-1 going into the 64th minute. What did I say to you was the best bet there, Buckets?
You said the best bet was to take Barcelona over 2.5 team total live, plus 180?
It is now 3-1, 76 minutes in. So 10 minutes later, Barcelona's already hit that bet. Let's get to some of the comments from our show already. We go to Reed Phillips. Rad, he said, here I am waiting for my daughter to finish dance class, listening to the best goddamn soccer YouTube cast around. Fucking first and foremost, Buckets, you pinned this one on our page. And the reason being that this is a cool fucking dude.
It is a cool dude. It is a cool comment. It is somebody that understands their priorities. Yes, take care of your children, look after your daughter. That is fine. But make sure you got stoppage time locked and loaded as soon as that, I think it was dance, is done, Ian.
Wherever you are, YouTube will follow you on your device, whether you're at home, watch it on your TV, on your laptop. But if you're just around and about, take your phone with you. Click it on. We're still there. We ain't going anywhere. We got to go to Chris Kish. He says, I love learning from two people who don't change their personalities for the show. You're always yourselves. So glad you guys are back. I watch for the fucking vibes. Fucking have it. I love it. We go to Adam Fry. He said, have been listening to every episode since August, but first time commenting. Thank you guys so much for all you do. I always look forward to listening to Stoppage Time to get me through the day, and was so sad to see you guys not doing the show anymore. So glad you're back and absolutely having it this weekend. Bundesliga predictions are my absolute favorite. We go to Blake Granson, a favorite commenter in the show. Thank you, Blake. Who needs March Madness when you can get snipped on a Friday before a glorious Stoppage Time weekend? Let's go.
What
Do you
is
know what that means, Bucket?
yeah, snipped on a Friday? I have no idea what that means.
You've never had the snip? You've got no interest in children or having children in your life, and you don't know what
Oh,
the snip
that
is?
that snip. Okay, the vasectomy snip. I got you. Yes, Freya is losing her mind right now. 1 second.
You can go check out Freya while I continue on here. Let's go to Dennis. Thanks, guys. Best duo out there. So authentic and amazing. Can't wait for episode 3. We go to Dark E7441. Welcome back. Love the Bundesliga round overview and info provided. Great breakdown of games and best bets. We go to JPan5. The boys are back in town. I'm here for a long time. We win together. We lose together. That man Buckets and Ian are the gifts that keep on giving. Let's fucking go. Glad you guys are back. We go to Nick Mace. He said, did I hear IPJ on OnlyFans? Oh, wait a minute. Also glad to see Buckets, the dating wizard, having some success in the dating scene. Much deserved. Thanks again for entertaining us freaks. Little update from you, Buckets, on the dating scene from Nick Mace.
I knew that this was going to come up eventually. Let's just keep this simple. Let's keep it quick and let's move on. There will not be a third date, Ian.
Ouch, that hurt. Let's go to Anthony. Anthony said, big fan, guys. Thank you all. Thank you all for what you do. I'm tailing all the way. Also love the recap. The recap at the beginning is my only football news I need. We appreciate you. Thank you for that. Thank you for saying so. And this is your show, everybody. So please drop in the comments and let us know what you like. If we enjoy your comment and we think we can help you, we'll try to get those comments out to you as Buckets tries to work his camera. We go to Matt. He says, absolutely love the show. You guys are fucking marvelous and the best duo out there. Damn it, I'm so excited. We go to Indigo BG. Hilarious. I zip through most YouTube videos at 1.5x or 2x speed, but there's no way that I can do it when Ian's talking. Hashtag have it. Could you imagine me, Buckets, on fucking 2x speed?
That would just not be doable at all. Man, my camera is messing up. My dog is freaking out. This is a tough start to the show for me, Ian. So bear with me, guys, while I get this settled. But just know
I'll just keep fucking running through the comments while you fix your goddamn camera.
this
My
is
God,
crazy.
losing that second date must have fucked you right up. Let's go to Bobby Bush. He says, Jawohl! Love the Bundesliga previews being back. Thank you so much, boys. We go to Doc Junge, religious listener, second-time commenter. Fucking love it. You boys are back. Hashtag have it. Thank you, Doc, for jumping in. We go back to Dennis. He says, by the way, I'm getting goosebumps. When the music starts and I hear Ian yelling, yeah, baby. Ha, 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 ha. Love it. Let's go to Smart. He said, free show is entertaining and much appreciated, but how can a sponsor make money if they don't put you behind a paywall? We'll come back to that one in just a minute. Asian Outlaw 23, second date, take her to IKEA. Ask her to choose pillowcase blankets. Ha ha ha. Buckets, did you actually do that and that's why you're not getting a third one?
No, I wish I would have done that. I did something else that we're definitely not going to talk about on this show, but IKEA is a great date. I think that would be a lot better than what I tried to do. Just saying.
Buckets, you know there's no way I can proceed with the show without finding out exactly what you did do that got you banished from a third date. Feel free to open up. This is your show.
This
The
is our
loyal
show.
listeners love you. We're a family. They expect, they demand, they're a part of your life. So feel free to share.
I would like to think that this is us all dating someone, not me just dating someone, Ian. So yes, let's talk about it. I made the mistake of not checking the dietary restrictions of the person that I was potentially seeing and took them to a lovely little steakhouse. Turns out the person is not a steak and or meat eater, and I am a very aggressive meat eater, and so it was kind of a bit of an awkward conversation. We got past it, we figured it out, but we learned enough about each other to know that it probably wasn't the move.
Well, thanks for being honest with us and telling us exactly. How was your steak, though?
Oh, my steak was incredible. I'll be going back there once a week. Or tell you what, when we sweep our plays this week, I'll go back there. I'll take a picture of the steak for everybody here watching.
I'm just picturing you, Buckets, just absolutely devouring a massive steak right in front of this person while they're just like.
He's got her little
anger.
salad, and I'm sitting there just blood pouring out of my.
Let's go to Rufo Silva. I appreciate you guys for the good content. As always, loyal listener, Buckets. Hashtag have it. Love you, Rufo. Let's go to Will Torres. He wrote comment. You know why? Because I said, just leave a comment. So we fucking love you, Will, for listening to us. Thank you, everybody, for jumping in there. Guess who's back, Buckets?
Is it, what's his name? Gunderson?
Eric Gunnarsson. Don't worry, IPJ. I haven't missed a pick. I'm just glad you guys are back talking some fucking footy picks. We love you, Eric, man. Thank you for jumping back in the comments and always for being a good sport. Let's go back to Smart Cat or Smart Key 11. Free show is entertaining and much appreciated, but how can a sponsor make money if they don't put you behind a paywall? Buckets, do you care? I mean, you're not necessarily the business savvy side of our show, but do you care to answer that question?
I can do my best, and then when I mess this up, inevitably, you who are, or who is the business guy, can kind of correct me here. Our job is to always create free content. That's what Ian and I said from day one. And how that can be done is by not taking sponsors that want to put it behind a paywall, but people that will pay us to have, I'm guessing, like paid advertisements within the show. Like if we could still do that same show, but we read a 30-second ad blurb, or we're sitting here drinking a insert your favorite drink kind of deal, that would probably work, maybe.
We're
Yeah.
fucking getting the steakhouse involved. We're gonna get a steakhouse sponsor. That's what we're getting now. No, listen, that's exactly right. What you do is obviously as a company, you're basically selling a product and you're giving opportunity to utilize your platform to sell their own product. We don't want to put the show behind a paywall. And also, what I don't want to do is I don't want fucking ads to keep popping up when people
Yeah.
are trying to enjoy the goddamn show as well. That's not gonna happen. Okay. So our job here is to try and find the right partner, specific partner that allows you to switch on with our show. You hear the war cry, and at the end, you hear the hashtag have it, and then you get the fuck out of here with your bets. That's our job. We want to make sure that that remains the case, that you can watch 40, 50 minutes of our content and you can enjoy your day uninterrupted. I don't want any of that bullshit. So we're going to try and find a sponsor that will make that happen. They'll be able to get our platform. They can utilize it. We can say their name. And there's multiple ways. And as obviously as you saw with our previous partner, it was a sports book. So we mentioned their name a considerably large amount of time. They also created our show. So that's why we fucking did it. But at the same time, the partnership was a great one. And we will be finding another partner very soon indeed. And there's multiple ways that we can do that. You ready to proceed further, Buckets, or do you have some comments?
I've got no comments. You explained it much better than I did. That's for damn sure.
Dude, that second date has fucking rattled you, man. I'm telling you. There's
I am going
cameras all
through
over
it
the
today,
place.
man.
Freya's rough. Fiorentina can't score a fucking penalty. Like, you're having a tough day, man.
But the good news about a tough day, Ian, is that we can only go up from here as I jinx myself. But that's fine. That's fine. I'm good to move on.
Let's get to Bundesliga match day 18. It is, of course, Leverkusen who are top of the table, 45 points. Bayern Munich, 41 points after 16 games. Stuttgart dropped points again at the weekend, 34 on 17 games. Leipzig not too far behind on 33 points. And guess who's back? Back again. Dortmund's back, getting closer to that top four spot. Remember, on our social media, we are posting videos every single day. And one of them was pointing out that on DraftKings, you could get Borussia Dortmund to finish in the top four at plus 160, 160, 180, plus 160, I think it was. And it's definitely changed now. So at the bottom of the table, we do have obviously some teams that are fighting for their lives. Mainz, Cologne, and Darmstadt are in the bottom three. Union Berlin are one place outside of it. Let's get to the match day 17, 18 fixtures. We've got Mainz against Union Berlin was supposed to be the Friday game, but Buckets, that game is cancelled. So what would your advice be to people out there who are probably got them in a parlay? What should they do?
Well, my advice would be moving forward, you need to be aware of kind of the weather conditions, especially in a country like Germany, because even if these games aren't going to get postponed, if they're playing through snow, if they're playing through extreme cold, there's going to be outside factors that will affect how these matches are played. We kind of touched upon this last week a bit, Ian. The first game back from break, we said there could be a lot of unders, which is not traditional to German style football, but that's exactly like we saw. So just be careful moving forward. If they're in a parlay, it's going to be book dependent. You might have to hold on to them until they replay it, or they might just void that leg of the parlay. But moving forward, be very careful this weekend because I got to imagine the weather's going to be rough across the board here.
Quiz time for John Bucket Timer on Bundesliga match day 17. Obviously, the Bundesliga produces a goals per game average higher than any other league, and that's why we like to cover it. It's 3.54 goals per game. That changed last weekend because there was a lot of unders that hit Buckets. Do you know how many games actually went over 2.5 total goals in their game from all of the games that took place on match day 17?
I know that Bayern Munich did. I know. Was it just two?
Just two?
Just two? Two's my guess.
Yeah, just two.
Oh.
It was just the two.
Boom.
Yeah. Bayern Munich got their goals, and then, of course, Gladbach scored 3 as well.
Mhm.
How fucking crazy is that? It's absolutely wild. All right, let's go on with the games that are coming up this weekend. Bochum against Stuttgart, Darmstadt against Frankfurt, Heidenheim against Wolfsburg, Cologne against Dortmund. We've got Freiburg against Hoffenheim, Leipzig against Leverkusen. We move to Sunday. Bayern Munich, they're back in action against Werder Bremen, and we've got Gladbach against Augsburg. Is that the wrong fucking games? That's last week's game, no?
No, those
Gladbach
were all
against
good.
Augsburg.
Those were all right.
Okay, thank God, because they're at home twice in a week. That fucking gives
Gladbach,
them a
yeah.
chance to actually win.
Uh,
And then we also have, Buckets, I'm going to throw this in there just for you. Bayern Munich play on Wednesday. It's a makeup game against Union Berlin, whose game just got cancelled. That's taking place on Wednesday. Here's updated stats. Harry Kane sitting on 22 goals. We've got Seru Guirassy on 17 goals. Openda on 11 goals. He should have scored this weekend against Frankfurt. First time ever in history that Frankfurt have won in Leipzig in a Bundesliga game. We go to the assists. Leroy Sané, he got a couple this weekend. He's up to 10. Florian Wirtz on 7. Julian Brandt on 7. Xavi Simons on 7 as well. All right, prediction time for this match day 18 Buckets. I want your scoreline prediction. I want your goal scores predictions. At least one goal score would be great. We're going to forget the Friday game because just a reminder to everybody out there, Mainz and Union Berlin is cancelled. So we move to Saturday, Bochum against Stuttgart. Let's go.
Bochum against Stuttgart. There we go, Ian. I think we might be seeing the downfall of Stuttgart a little bit. They're still going to have no Girassi. And as you mentioned last week, this is a team that was hitting above their belt for a long time. And eventually they're going to start showing some cracks in the armor here. And that's exactly what we saw when Gladbach beat them down 3-1. I do think Stuttgart have enough still with Under there in that striking 9 position to get at least a point out of a bad Bochum side. But Bochum is going to see this kind of weakened Stuttgart side and know that this is a match that they can get a point out of, especially when playing at home. I'm actually going for a high scoring draw here, 2-2 scoreline. And as long as Under is starting in that 9 position for Stuttgart, I don't really care what the odds are. And I don't care that he didn't score last week. I have to take Under to score here, Ian.
All right, I'm going to throw it out there. He might be injured, Undov. Just throwing it
Close,
out there.
yeah.
Keep an eye on that one because you just never, ever know. All right, I'm going for Bochum to win this game by 2-1. Buckets, does that surprise you?
Doesn't surprise me, unfortunately.
Bochum have lost only one game at home all season. They don't lose many games at home, but they don't win many games either. So double chance is maybe a decent look here. Double chance for Bochum is currently sitting at minus 115 for those that dare.
Oh.
Stuttgart are third in the table, but the loss at Gladbach didn't look good on them. They have won 4 away games and they've lost 4 away games. They don't draw away games. Just throwing it out there for my man, John Bucketimer. Maybe no Undav. Guirassy looks like he's also out injured as well. So I'm going for Bochum goal scorer Christopher Antve Agier to score anytime goal score plus 550. It is a wild one, so please everybody out there bet responsibly. 1 goal so far this season. Bochum on the money line are also plus 260. So it's a long shot. Everybody can see that. So maybe the double chance on Bochum here at minus 115 is a place to play. Let's go to Darmstadt against Frankfurt.
Darmstadt against Frankfurt. This is another tough one for me. I am just frankly, I've been bummed out. There's probably a better word for it, but I've been so bummed out watching Darmstadt play right now. I wanted to see them have more fight in the Bundesliga, and I wanted to see them defend their home turf better than they've been doing this season. Frankfurt, ever since they lost Kolo Muani, they're not that high scoring, fun 3-0, 4-1 kind of team, but they're still a team that is consistently winning or at least drawing games. I think Frankfurt will have too much for Darmstadt, so I'm actually going for a 2-0 victory for Frankfurt. I've got both teams not to score in this one, Ian. And when I'm looking at my goal score, I'm going for a tricky one here. I'm going for Hugo Larsson, the 19-year-old Swiss midfielder, is getting some serious playtime with Frankfurt. And even though he only has 2 goals right now, he's looking more confident every single game. And this is sitting around the plus 300 mark here. So be careful if you're going to play that, especially considering he only has 2 goals. But Hugo's the kind of guy that can show up.
I like the over 1.5 team total for Frankfurt, so I'm going to stick on that as well. I'm going for Frankfurt to get 2 goals against Darmstadt, but I do think that both teams score here and Frankfurt get the win. So I'm going for Frankfurt 2-1 away from home against Darmstadt. Frankfurt are quietly putting together a good season, Buckets. Nobody really are watching them. They're actually 6th in the table right now on 27 points. They just beat Leipzig 1-0 away from home. And Darmstadt, they've only got 1 win at home all season long. So dangerous times for a Darmstadt team who's maybe fighting for their lives, but expect the unexpected in the Bundesliga. Anything can fucking happen. I'm going for Sasa Kaladzic to score a goal. He made his debut last week. He's on loan from Wolves. He previously played for Stuttgart, but now playing for Frankfurt. He is plus 180 anytime goal scorer. He's a good player. He was seriously injured at Wolves, and that's why he's needing to get back to match fitness. And remember, he had success at Stuttgart, so just watch this space. Let's go to Heidenheim against Wolfsburg.
I have been so impressed with Heidenheim all season long. The fact that they are newly promoted and are already in the top half of the Bundesliga, sitting at 9th place, I guess exactly 9th place, halfway there. I love this club. They're a ton of fun to watch. They don't really play defense, but they're scoring a ton of goals, and they're playing a Wolfsburg side that is not bad by any means, 11th on the table, but they've only won 1 of their last 5. Wolfsburg is struggling to find any kind of form. I actually think Heidenheim at home win this outright. I've got them to a 2-1 scoreline. They're not really a club that keeps consistent clean sheets, when I'm looking at a goal scorer for Heidenheim, I'm looking at two different guys, Ian, and I ended up picking up the one that I know how to pronounce a little bit better. I'm going for your boy Tim Kleinstedt here. He's leading the team, but he's drawn in goals alongside of Aaron Dinksley, something like that. But I'm going with Kleinstedt to score. Both of these guys are a good shout, though, if you're looking for a goal scorer for Heidenheim.
Tim Kleindienst.
Kleindienst?
Yeah. And Dinchil.
Okay.
Even that one's hard to say as well. Does it scare you a little bit that Heidenheim have conceded 33 goals at home so far? I know they've had success, but they've conceded 33 goals in 17 games all season long. And at home, I know they've been a better team at home, but at home they've conceded 14 goals from 8. Does that concern you?
It doesn't concern me. I do like both teams to score and the over here, even if we do have some cold weather. But I do like Heidenheim to get 2 more than anything, I think, Ian.
You're going to fucking hate this one.
Oh, man.
Heidenheim 1.
No.
Wolfsburg 4.
4?
Listen, Wolfsburg are in free fall. I understand where you're coming from. I get it. Somehow they're 11th. They're 2 places behind Heidenheim in the table right now. There is this opportunity, though, to put pressure on that mid-table team and get back into the top half of the table. So any team that's near you, especially when it's a newly promoted team, you've got to take advantage of that. You've got to try and win those games. I just think Wolfsburg have got a great squad of players, and they're just underperforming right now. And these are the type of games that you get your performances back. I'm going out here on a fucking mile-long search of a fucking result here. But at the same time, this is how I feel, so this is what I'm providing to everybody out there. Heidenheim are good at home, 5 wins from 8. Wolfsburg have lost 6 away from home, so they've been poor on the road. 9 goals, 4 assists, 0 goals since November. Jonas Wind is going to score this weekend. He's back in plus numbers buckets, plus 150 for Wind to score. 9 goals he's had in the season, and he's got no goals since November, but he scores multiple goals this weekend. That's what I'm feeling, man. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm assuming you've already looked at his to score a brace and score a hat trick lines then?
I didn't look into it and take note of it, but I did and may have placed a wager. Yes.
I think we're definitely on different sides of this one. I think it would be tremendous if Wolfsburg could score 4 here. I mean, you nailed Gladbach 3-1 to Stuttgart, so I'm not going to question you, but I'm going to say I'm on the opposite side.
You never know until these games actually start, but Heidenheim are a fun team to watch at home. No matter what, it's entertaining to watch them at home. Let's go to Cologne against Borussia Dortmund. My guy Timo Schultz got the draw last week. Buckets were 1 point away from that relegation, so we've got a chance of making that trip over there.
They definitely have a chance. I'm looking at this one and I'm very nervous, obviously, because Dortmund is Dortmund. And outside of getting Julian Brandt to score or assist last week, again, I still don't hit a lot of bets when I bet on Dortmund. I'm looking at Cologne. I'm looking at how probably their mindset is going in to play a Dortmund side. I think Cologne would be ecstatic if they got another point off of this one, which means I think Cologne are going to play a very defensively minded match here. Cologne does not have a lot of goals. In fact, they have the least goals scored in the Bundesliga with just 11 in 17 games. And when you're playing Dortmund, this is a side, especially this year, where they can get frustrated and they can get stuck in their own head. And Dortmund can just be that team that has 30 shots, 9 on target, and no goals. So I think this is a very low scoring game. I do unfortunately think Dortmund will eventually get the win here, Ian, but I'm only on a 1-0 win for Dortmund. So I don't think it's going to be very aggressive by any means. If you want to take Cologne on the spread, I do like that. And I'm looking for a goal scorer. I'm going to keep going with Nicholas Füllkrug right now. I know that Brandt looked great last game, but Dortmund does have Füllkrug up top. Eventually, he's going to start finding his form with this club. To be fair, I said the same thing about Sebastian Haller earlier this season, but eventually Dortmund has to find their 9, and I think it will be Füllkrug.
Yeah, I agree with you. Listen, at the same time, he's going to start scoring goals again at some point, but he's not my goal scorer this time around. As much as I love my boy Timo, this game is going to be a step too far for Cologne. I know they're at home. I know it's a derby game, but at the same time, let's not forget the Borussia Dortmund are back in the Champions League hunt. Yeah. They're already back. They just signed Jadon Sancho. He was good on his debut last week. I've got Dortmund winning this game by 3 goals to 1. Sancho got an assist last week on his debut back in. He came on in the 55th minute with Marco Reus. He made a difference, so I'm excited to see that. But here's my goal scorer. Daniel Malin, anytime goal scorer buckets. What do you think about this? Plus 190. He is 5 goals, playing very well this season. And there's actually rumors that they might sell him soon as well because there's some big offers coming in.
As soon as you add that sell aspect to it, you almost want to take those guys to score goals because any goal he gets now, they could just kind of add an extra million to the price tag. Oh, he had a brace. There's an extra 5 mil. So if the rumors are true, I think it's a fantastic shout. And Malin has been very impressive to watch this year.
Let's go to Freiburg against Hoffenheim.
Oh, man, I absolutely hate this matchup. I don't want to bet on Freiburg. I don't want to bet on Hoffenheim. This is two clubs that are sitting on 7th and 8th at the table. Two clubs that are struggling to find form in general right now. Freiburg has looked, I'd say, a little bit better, but neither of these teams are finding any kind of consistency. Hoffenheim for the first half of the year, and we bet on a ton because when they played on the road specifically, they showed up and they looked fantastic. Freiburg is doing fine, but these are just two teams that are hard to bet right now. I do not see a ton of goals in this match, and frankly, I don't see an outright winner either here. I'm looking at a 1-1 draw. I even checked the Hoffenheim double chance, which is minus 125 if you want to take a stab at that. But this is a game I would be very cautious betting. If I had to pick a goal scorer, we got to go with our boy Wout Weghorst, though, specifically because he's at plus 250, Ian. I know he doesn't have a ton of goals, but he's the kind of guy that can create chances from nothing. And he's the kind of guy that's been doing much better in the Bundesliga than he was for Manchester United. So he wants to keep succeeding here with this Hoffenheim side.
Freiburg 3, Hoffenheim 2.
Ah,
7th against 8 in the Bundesliga, 1 point between the two teams. Hoffenheim has scored 11 more goals than Freiburg, and they have also conceded 7 more goals than Freiburg. This is a wild team, Hoffenheim, this year. They are fucking fun to watch. They're crazy. They are the 3rd best team in the Bundesliga away from home. They're fucking unbelievable. They know how to get jobs done. They've won 5 games from 9 on the road this season. They don't care who they're playing against. They're going there to just be competitive. But the problem I see here is that Freiburg have lost only 1 game at home all season long. So I just see that that rival is there, and Freiburg haven't been at their best. Hoffenheim are willing to attack, but not necessarily defend. This being a goal scoring game, I just see it. I'm going for Gregoritsch to anytime goal scorer at plus 175. He's got 3 goals and 1 assist. He's a former Hoffenheim player, and that's why I'm going for him. As a kid, he was an academy player, so this game will mean something to him, and I've got a feeling that Freiburg are going to turn up on the day. And Christian Streich has been very outspoken about what's happening in Germany right now. Obviously, there's a lot of protests going on out there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go research it. And Christian Streich, their Freiburg boss, has been very outspoken. So when you speak and your words are heard, you better make sure your fucking team performs at the weekend. Otherwise, people will criticize you. So I'm going for Freiburg to win by 3 goals to 2. Expect goals. Speaking of goals, Leipzig against Leverkusen.
Oh, it's the game of the weekend, Ian. I am so excited for this matchup. I would rather watch this matchup than even my boys on Bayern Munich because we have Leverkusen, who is still top of the freaking table, a whole 4 points ahead of Bayern Munich, even though Munich does have a game in hand, taking on a Leipzig side that looked horrendous last week. Leipzig is the kind of club that can bounce back very easily, but they're the type of club that needs to bounce back because when you're going against Leverkusen, if you do not bring your best right now, even though Leverkusen is missing the likes of Boniface, you are going to lose this match. And frankly, I still think Leipzig lose this match. My favorite bet by far in this one, Ian, is to take both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. I do think we see fireworks and we do see goals in this matchup, but I'm looking at a 2-1 or 3-1 kind of win for Bayer Leverkusen. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they lose so Bayern Munich can catch up a bit here. But Leverkusen just looks too good right now. That even without Boniface, they have so many players at their disposal. This is a team that can rip through anyone if given the chance, and they will take advantage of any tiny mistake that Leipzig is frankly a team that makes a lot of right now. They're just not too good at finding consistent form for 90 minutes. When I'm looking at a goal scorer, I'm a little bit cautious here because I want to see the lineups. I want to keep betting on Florian Wirtz because he's meant so much to the show. We've had so much success betting on him. But if I'm not mistaken, he did not start last week. So I'd be careful. But if he's in the starting lineup, I'm not quite sure where his fitness is at. I'm going to keep betting him to probably to score or assist, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, he's not on the injury list so far. Only Boniface and Arthur are the 2 players who are on that injury list. They do have multiple players obviously missing through international duty as well, with AFCON and Asian Cup taking place right now. Buckets, who is the only undefeated team in all of Europe right now? Top 5, top 6, top 7 leagues.
Bayer Leverkusen.
Bayer Leverkusen are that team. Who's going to lose that record this weekend?
You got Leipzig winning this outright?
Leipzig 3, Leverkusen 1. The undefeated streak comes to an end this weekend. Yes, I'm a crazy motherfucker, and I know it. Leipzig are top of the table. They're a top side. Listen, they're not top of the table. They're a top side. They're a good side. They will be pissed off that they lost last weekend against Frankfurt at home. That's their only defeat they've had at home this season as well. Let me remind you of that one. Leipzig do have Borussia Dortmund now just behind them in the table, fighting for that top 4 place. They can't afford to lose this game. They've got to try and get points. So I think that they're going to really fucking go for it. I mean, Leipzig, as I've mentioned already, they did lose that game last weekend against Frankfurt. They've only conceded 7 goals at home all season long. And Leverkusen are a team that scores against everybody. I understand that. So I do think that Leverkusen get a goal here. But Leverkusen were fucking lucky last week. They scored in the 90th plus 4th. Palacios got the goal, but it was a last-minute winner. And that is championship material, but can you back it up when you've now got to go on the road again to one of the most difficult places to travel to, East Germany, Leipzig? It's a difficult environment. It won't be easy for them this weekend. Where's my goal scorer coming from? Noah Sapenda, anytime goal scorer, is currently sitting at plus 135. At home, yes, fucking please. 11 goals, 4 assists so far in the season for him. If you're looking to ladder it, like John Bucketimer taught me how to do, 2 goals for him is plus 750. Do you know how much a hat trick is? Plus 4,000. Buckets, I may be crazy, but I feel like Openda, when he missed a ton of chances last week, he's not going to miss them this week against Leverkusen in the big one.
I was not expecting him to be plus odds, even against Leverkusen. I think at least a goal you have to take, and if you want to do half a unit on a brace and a quarter unit on a hat trick, it's a great shout, Ian.
I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to have some fun with it because plus numbers are just something that you just don't want to turn down. And Leipzig, obviously, being a team that are difficult to beat at home, they've got the power already. They showed us against Bayern Munich. I think it was 2-2 against Bayern Munich back in maybe September it was. And they've got the firepower. We know that. They've got the ability. But now they've got Dortmund breathing down their neck in 5th place. They need a win. I think Stuttgart drops. I'm just throwing it right now. And we see Dortmund and Leipzig pick up points. Let's go to Sunday's game, Bayern Munich against Bremen.
Well, I hope you're right, because if Leverkusen does end up dropping 3 points here, that means that Bayern Munich has a chance to make up some serious ground against this Leverkusen side. And Bayern Munich are now in a position that we're not used to seeing them in. This is a team that has won the Bundesliga outright, I think, the last 12 seasons in a row. This is a team that is not used to being in this weird conversation where we're fighting for second place. No, that is not what Thomas Tuchel is going to do, and that is sure as hell not what Bayern Munich is going to do. I'm looking at Bayern Munich to have a very dominant victory here against a Werder Bremen side that is just, I have nothing to say about them. They're fine. They're here. They're doing okay. But you're playing Bayern Munich. This is a whole different monster. I'm looking at a 4-1 scoreline for Bayern Munich. I will give Werder Bremen the benefit of the doubt. Both teams to score tends to hit in a lot of Bayern Munich games. Defensively, they're still not all there, and they're missing some key players to AFCON and to the AFC Asian Cup. But Bayern Munich cannot slow down right now. They need to win, and they need to have dominant wins in these matches moving forward to raise as much confidence as we can before they end up getting in this really, really tight race with Leverkusen.
Yeah, because you said it all. I don't need to add too much to this other than say that Bayern Munich are going to win this game by 5-2. I'm expecting goals this weekend. Last weekend was fucking boring. And it was pointed out in the media that both teams to score didn't hit often and fucking over 2.5 didn't hit often. It was boring. Easy win. Bayern too good. Bayern Munich will go on top of the league buckets. They're going to be top of the league on Wednesday. That's my prediction right now. Mark it down. Say what you want. Call me crazy. Whatever you want. Bayern Munich will be top of the league on Wednesday. Harry Kane is minus 300 anytime goal scorer. It's fucking disgusting line that is. 22 goals, 5 assists. Both teams to score in this game, Buckets, coincidentally. And you mentioned it, plus 100.
That's a great shout. I also don't think I said my goal scorer. I looked at Harry Kane, saw that minus 300 and said, nope, I'm going with Leroy Sané. He had a couple assists to his name last week, but now he's plus 100 to score again. Sané, both teams to score. There's a lot of different ways to bet this one.
Let's go to Gladbach against Augsburg.
Well, I have a newfound love for Gladbach because I can't get over the fact that you hit that plus 2,400 prediction last week on that 3-1 scoreline. But I watched that game, and to be honest, I've not watched a ton of Gladbach this season, and I saw a lot of the things that you preached on the last episode. This Gladbach team is good. They're not as bad as I thought they were. I did not give them credit where credit was due, and it's a team that I think can consistently start finding some form here, consistently can start winning, and they're playing at home again. And if I'm not mistaken, it's back-to-back home games, which is a bit bizarre, but I'm not going to complain. I do think we see a lot of goals here, and I see Gladbach winning this one. Ian, I'm looking at a 3-2 scoreline for Gladbach, and maybe it's the recency bias hitting me just a little bit, but Robin Hack is plus 250 anytime goal scored. He just scored twice last week against Stuttgart. He does not have a ton of starts to his name, but if he does start in this matchup, plus 250, I feel like you got to take a stab at Robin.
Yeah, keep that good form going. When you're hot, stay hot. And the reason why it's back-to-back buckets is because last week, Match day 17 was the halfway point. We're now in
Right.
the second half of the season, so things switch around. So you go back to back with the home games or away games for the majority of teams. I'm going for Borussia Mönchengladbach 3-1 against Augsburg. The reason why I'm going for 3-1 is for the reason that Buckets just pointed out right there. I said 3-1 against Stuttgart. It ended up 3-1. We had a plus 2,400 ticket on that one. It was a big win for them against Stuttgart last weekend. It was a good performance. They could do better. Stuttgart put a lot of pressure on in the second half and maybe should have scored that second goal to make it 2-2. But the bookies continue out there to not really support Gladbach or not really trust Gladbach. Their money line against Augsburg, who are a team that are struggling right now, Buckets, Gladbach on the money line is minus 110 at home.
You know what I want to do is I want to look at what their 1.5 team total is, because I bet that's playable as well. And maybe you could do some ladder action with Gladbach.
Alassane play anytime goal scorers plus 185. He didn't score last week for me. He's going to score this weekend. Buckets, a little special for everybody out there. Bayern Munich are playing Union Berlin on Wednesday. Just real quickly, your scoreline prediction as they go top of the league on Wednesday?
Well, especially if Leverkusen drop points and that becomes the match that puts them top of the table, I just expect an onslaught in that game. I know it's midweek. I know they'll be tired. I don't think they'll care. And I think the busy schedule hurts Union Berlin way more than it hurts Bayern Munich. That's another 4-0, 5-1 kind of game for me.
5-1. Remember, Union Berlin are not playing, the game's being cancelled, so they've got a bit more of a rest than Bayern Munich. But I think that the momentum, because they've already had a winter break, fuck your rest. Keep playing. I'm going for Bayern Munich to win by 5-1. And as I mentioned already, that being the game in hand could be the game that puts Bayern top of the table. Any one player scores more than one goal, I've gone for Lois Openda, plus 750 to score 2+ goals.
I'm going with Leroy Sané at plus 550 here, Ian.
Any player you're looking at to have an assist? I've got Harry Kane having an assist here. I have no idea what his line is at.
I'm actually sticking in the same game. I'm going with Leroy Sané again. I think this could be one of those fun games where you get to play his 2 score and assist market. He's just looking really good right now. I'm a big fan of Sané and what he's doing.
In case you didn't recognize this, loyal listeners out there, I didn't choose one single clean sheet. I've gone BTTS across the board in the games this weekend. Buckets, you got anyone having a clean sheet? I think it was the first game, right?
I've got Gregor Kobel keeping one against Cologne. I just think Dortmund will be too much for them right now.
All right, let's get fired into it. It's been an awkward show for us, Buckets, because you lost your second date. Freya's been all over the place. Your camera's all fucked. We've rattled through the games, but we're having some fun. But now it's time for you to get down to fucking business. This is why Eric Gunnarsson turns up to watch our show, for this part right here. Buckets, it's go time. Let's get to profit.
Right.
You know it wouldn't be a show of stoppage time if we didn't get you some wagers from our betting expert, John Bucketsheimer. Let's go for the big weekend coming up. We've got so many competitions, too many for me to mention. Domestic competitions, domestic cup competitions. We've got Asian Cup. We've got AFCON. We've got international friendlies. We've got fucking crazy games going on this weekend. Buckets, I want 5 best bets from you over the course of this weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'll even throw Tuesday in there if you've got something for me. Let's begin with your best bet on Friday.
And we are going to start with the Friday best bet, which happens to me be my entirely favorite best bet here. I'm looking at the AFC Asian Cup, and I'm looking at the big match between Iraq taking on Japan. Ian and I have been banging my head against the wall, preaching to everybody how good this Japan side is. We already did a video on our FC StoppageTime social media saying that we are on Japan to win the whole cup at plus 225, and I'm going to bet on them every single match of the way. Japan are incredible. This is one of the best international teams I have seen in a very, very long time. And I could talk about how good their players are, how good their coach is, but all I really want to do is just read you their most recent score lines. 4-2 win over Vietnam, 6-1 over Jordan, 5-0 over Thailand, 5-0 over Syria, 5-0 over Myanmar, 2-0 against Tunisia, 4-1 against Canada, 4-2 against Turkey, 4-1 against Germany, 4-1 against Peru. I could go on all day here, Ian, but all you need to know is that this Japan side has one of the best offenses on the planet, and it's not even close. They do not slow down. They do not show mercy. And Japan over 2.5 team total is plus 100. I know that Iraq has good defense. I know that they are going to try their best to park this bus. But as soon as Japan cracks this game open 15 minutes in with a first goal, it is going to be nothing but madness. I would have played this if it was minus 200. I do not care. Japan is just that good.
I support you on this one. I think they're a great team. They obviously won that first game by 4-2. Iraq also won their first game by 3-1. And if I'm not mistaken, Iraq just lost one of their best players. He walked out of the team after a disagreement with the head coach. So A lot of disgruntlement in an Iraqi side right now going up against Japan, who are still the favourites in that competition to go ahead and win it. Love the bet buckets. Let's go to your Saturday best bet.
Saturday, this is a bit of a tough one. For events that I'm not going to get on into here on the show, the Israeli Premier League schedule has become kind of a nightmare. Teams are having to play essentially every 3 days right now, and we are seeing some clubs that can keep up with that kind of schedule, but more often we're seeing teams that cannot keep up with playing 7 games over a 15-day period. One of the clubs that has been absolutely phenomenal and that has the depth to deal with something like this is Hapoel Beersheva. I'm looking at their match against Hapoel Jerusalem Saturday morning. This game is at, my apologies, 12:30 in the afternoon. Beersheva has been incredible. They are one of the best teams in all of the Israeli Premier League, and they are, frankly, their line is too light here. Their matched or money line is minus 135, but their 1.5 team total is minus 105, and that is where I'm taking this bet here, Ian. Hapoel Beersheva has scored 2 or more goals in 7 matches straight, and in 4 of those matches, they have scored 4 or more of these goals. This is another team that just they outclass a lot of these teams in the Premier League right now. Hapoel Jerusalem is a fine club, but they do not have the depth and they do not have the healthy squad to deal with a team like Beersheva. Take that 1.5 team total at minus 105, and this might be a match that you look to ladder a little bit.
Love to see this bet. So I'm just looking at the table right now, and Hapoel Beersheva sitting in fourth place right now, 17 games played. They've won 9, they've lost 5 games, scored 35 goals, and only conceded 15.
Yep.
And Hapoel Jerusalem, they have only won 4 games from 17. They've only scored 16 goals, and they've conceded 23. So love this look. Don't know much about it except for the fact that I fucking trust you. Let's go to your best bet for Sunday.
Sunday goes to not only my favorite club in La Liga, but I assume it's Ian's favorite La Liga club as well. I'm looking at Girona versus Sevilla. You guys know how much we love Girona last season when Tati Castellanos was playing there. But we love Girona this season because they are just wild. This team is beating clubs that people said they had no right to beat, and this team is consistently scoring goals at such an incredible rate. And frankly, they're not slowing down really at all right now. Meanwhile, Sevilla, my goodness, their fall from grace has been something disgusting this season. Sevilla has looked absolutely terrible, and the disrespect I'm seeing on this line for something as simple as a money line blows my mind. Girona is minus 130 on the money line, taking on Sevilla at home. Girona that just ran over, I think it was Rayo Vallecano. I know I'm not saying that team name right. I can never get them right in cup play here over the weekend. Girona is the real deal. This is a team that is fighting for a Champions League spot in La Liga. And this is a team, frankly, Ian, that is fighting for the league title right now. Give me the money line at minus 130 all day for Girona. I think Sevilla is way out of their depth here.
Dude, I can't believe it's a minus 130 for the money line.
Makes no sense.
Makes absolutely no sense. You're on top of the table right now. What the fuck is going on?
They're amazing.
20 games played, 15-1, 46 goals scored, 49 points. They're 1 point ahead of Real Madrid, who have got a game in hand, of course. Sevilla at the bottom of the table, 17th in the table they are from 20 teams. They're just outside that relegation zone on 16 points, 1 point outside of the relegation zone. And as Bucket's already pointed out there, Girona are a team that at home in particular against Rayo Vallecano, they kind of wiped the floor with them as well. And at home, they're the 4th best team in La Liga. They've won 8 from 10 games. They've only lost 1, scored 25 from those 10 games. I wouldn't put it past Girona from getting 3 goals in this game. I've watched Sevilla recently. They're shit. Let's go to your best bet for Monday.
That 3 goals is plus 185, by the way, if you do want to take a stab at that. Looking at Monday, I'm taking us to an EPL matchup that is 2 teams that play the exact style of football, Ian, that you know I love more than anything. Brighton Hove Albion hosting Wolverhampton Wanderers, aka the Wolves, and I'm taking a classic here. Both teams to score and over 2.5 goals in this match at minus 105. I am fully aware that both sides are missing key players. Wolves most noticeably with the Korean guy, thank you, Pep, who is serving South Korea right now in international duty, and Brighton is missing key players as well. But Brighton has the highest both teams to score hit rate in the entire Premier League and one of the highest rates in all of Europe. It has hit in 90% of their matches so far this season, while Wolves has hit in 75% of their matches as well. These are 2 teams that I love to bet on because, again, they don't play defense. You'll kind of see that trend with me. I focus on weak defensive sides and strong offensive sides. Both teams to score in over 2.5 feels like an absolute blessing at minus 105, considering while there has been a bit of a break, we just saw Brighton have a 4-2 thriller against Stoke City in cup competitions, and they looked exactly how they've looked all season, minus their game against West Ham. I think we see a lot of goals in this game, and at almost even odds, it just feels like a weird line to me.
It is a weird line. Let's not forget that they have had this hit a lot, of course, recently. But at the same time, there's been a lot of goals in these games between the two sides who like to attack. They like to play attacking football. Brighton won by 4 goals to 1 back in August. It was an away victory against Wolves. So expect a bit of payback there coming from the Wolverhampton Wanderers. Brighton also won by 6 goals to 0 in April at home against this Wolverhampton Wanderers side. So they have shipped 10 goals in 2 games against Brighton Wolves have, which is absolutely insane. And they've only scored one. But if you go look through the scores over the last, 7 or 8 games, 4-1, 6-0, 2-3, 0-3, 0-1, 2-1, 3-3. It's insane. There's goals galore, and BTTS is certainly a good look, especially with both of these teams missing players and both of these teams trying to get some sort of form to get near those European places. Because right now, I think it's safe to say both of these teams are underperforming. They're looking like middle table teams, and I don't see both of these teams getting into Europe. I just don't. But these are the games you've got to win to actually get there. Buckets, let's go to your last bet. I wanted one for Tuesday. Do you have anything for me?
I actually don't have anything Tuesday, Ian, but there's a reason I don't. It's because you and I have to talk about a second Saturday match because this is a very important match taking place on Saturday. It's a very important player taking place on Saturday.
Oh, I'm excited now. Now
You
you
know where
got me
I'm going
going.
with
Let's
this?
go.
I'm
I
looking
know
at
where you're going.
Brentford versus Nottingham Forest, the return of Ivan Toney. Now, you might not have heard us say this name in the last 8 months, Ian, and why is that?
That was because he was suspended for 8 months for placing about 4 million bets on games that he had played in and or watched or just games randomly.
Yeah, he's a bit like us, but unfortunately, he plays in the game, so it makes it different for when he places a million wagers in one weekend. Ivan Toney did serve an 8 month suspension due to gambling on football, but he is back, and he is not. He's not going to be tired. He's not going to be lazy. He is going to be itching for the chance to get Brentford back some kind of form because right now they have looked terrible. Ivan Toney has also been allowed to play in some closed door matches. Most recently, he played in a U23 match in which he had a hat trick, Ian. Ivan Toney, anytime goal score is plus 105. I absolutely have to take this. Nottingham Forest, terrible on the road. I got to believe Ivan Toney's going to start. I see no reason he doesn't go immediately back into that starting 11. And to get that at plus odds, I know it's his first game back in 8 months. I just don't care. He's going to get at least one goal for the Bees.
I love that you're placing this wager, and I'm so glad you brought him up here. I'm going to go back to my box-to-box notes that I had for my show yesterday on CBS because we talked about Ivan Toney coming back into the team. Toney has 32 goals in 64 Premier League games for Brentford. He scored a hat-trick in a closed-door game for Brentford's B team against Southampton under 23s last Saturday. He scored a hat-trick. So, fucking guy's hungry. He's got a point to prove. These were his words. I have a lot to repay Brentford for, and I can't wait to try and do that because Brentford have stuck by him. And let me just throw this nugget out there as well, Buckets. There has been a lot of transfer rumor. Maybe some big offers coming in for an Ivan Toney. They've said no, we want to keep him until the end of the season. And he said, no, I've got to repay Brentford for sticking by me. I love this. There's love there, there's passion there, there's care there. And when you have that type of momentum going into games, he's fired up. Just got to hope he doesn't get a fucking red card. He should score goals this weekend. I wouldn't put it past him from scoring more than one goal this weekend. Love the bet buckets. This is a guy who's hungry. And I'm going to say this again. He is in the shop window right now. I think he gets sold at the end of the season. He comes back and he helps them away from the relegation zone because right now Brentford flirting with that relegation zone. He gets them away from the relegation zone. He gets them mid-table. They're safe. He's happy. They're happy. They sell him for 50 fucking million. What do you think?
I think that's exactly what's going to happen. But again, the better he does now between the end of the season, the more his value goes up, the more he helps Brentford make more money, and the more money he makes as well. He has no reason to play slow right now.
Time for my best bet this weekend, Buckets. You ready?
Let's hear it.
I'm hungry this time. All right, 3-leg around the world parlay. That's what I'm calling it. You have no idea where I'm going.
No
I'm going
clue.
somewhere special. Arsenal against Crystal Palace, Roma against Hellas Verona, Real Madrid against Almeria. It is a 3-leg parlay. I'm looking at Arsenal, Roma, and Real Madrid, all three to win. It's plus 116 right now on the sports books. And here's my reasoning why. Arsenal have lost 3 games in a row, 2 in the Premier League and 1 in the FA Cup. They lost to Liverpool at home. Let's not forget that one. I don't see them losing a 4th game in a row. I just don't see it. Arteta needs this win more than anybody else. Otherwise, people and his own fans are going to start questioning his job. So Arteta and Arsenal need the points and they need the win. Away from home, Crystal Palace are not great. They have not won in the last 4 games, and they've won only 3 from 10 away from home all season long. They have scored, however, in the last 5 away from home, so maybe there's something there to play with a BTTS look or something like that. But I think Arsenal win this game comfortably. Let's go to Roma against Hellas Verona. Roma just fired Jose Mourinho. It was their worst start since 2003 to a Serie A campaign. 29 points from 20 games. And as I mentioned already, Jose Mourinho is gone. Daniele De Rossi, a club icon, he is a legend or was a legend as a player, has come back to the club. And he is now in charge of this team going forward. Expect fucking fireworks in that game because he is a fiery individual, will get his team absolutely fired up. I think the ownership at Roma wanted Jose Mourinho out. And here's my reasoning why. They've got 3 very winnable games coming up now. They've got Hellas Verona, who I think they're going to win easily against. They've got Salernitana away from home, which is difficult, but still a team bottom of the table. Then they've got Cagliari, who are fighting for their lives at the same. But 3 in the bottom 4 of the table. Jose Mourinho won all 3 of those games. They're not firing him. So I think they wanted Jose gone. So letting him go now before these 3 games gives Daniele De Rossi a chance to get confidence with 3 wins back to back. I'm predicting 3 wins on the buds for Roma. I'm putting it out there right now. Real Madrid, obviously adding Real Madrid just to get me to plus numbers because if you were going on the money line, I think it's like minus 700 or something like that. But I enjoy watching Real Madrid, and this game is on the Sunday, so it will bleed this parlay from Saturday into Sunday. Real Madrid in second place in the table right now. They've got a game in hand over Girona, and if they win that game, they'll go top of the league. Real Madrid do play Girona as well, so they could go. They do play before Girona, so they could go top of the table before Girona actually plays. So this one means something as well for Real Madrid. So I think that's going to happen. Real Madrid, 8 wins from 9 at home. They scored 22. They've let in only 4. Let me just say this out there for people who are listening to this on Sunday. Let's say we reposted the link. You missed what's happening on Saturday, and you already missed the 2 fucking games already mentioned, and it's just Real Madrid left. I want to let everybody know that Real Madrid to win both halves is currently sitting at plus 100. And I think that's what's going to happen. And I have my bet. So obviously it's a long shot, but I'm just going to throw it out there, buckets. I think that this 3-leg parlay hits because 3 teams that are favorites and 3 teams that need 3 points, but 3 teams not necessarily in great form. Only Real Madrid are. So what do you think?
This is definitely an IPJ type parlay if I've ever heard one in my life. 3 different teams, 3 different leagues, different countries. We're going different days. Everything about it I love because it is so very you, Ian. I love it. I'll be tailing it. I specifically like this Roma angle. I looked at that match a bit. This could be some ugly, ugly games for Roma where they're putting up 3 or 4 goals in those games because they want that new manager bounce to be so successful. You did your research. I love everything about it.
I think Roma on the money line were minus 110, something like that, which, you know, you can flirt around with it, throw in a parlay, have some fun with it. First half lines are also fun as well because I expect fireworks from all 3 of these games. That's it, everybody. Thanks again, once again, for the support. Back at it again next week. And every week that we come back, we'll always try to be better than the previous one. Last show was fucking unbelievable. This one, it's been a little, you know, iffy because Buckets, he's not got a third date. You know, we're all disappointed for you, Buckets. We were expecting a relationship from this fucking second date. Instead, you had to take her to a fucking steakhouse and you fucked it all up.
Well, the good news is that I am now, what is it, a something man score. And my bets will be tremendous now because I'm so focused on the games. I'm not focused on women or relationships. I'm here to cash some tickets, Ian.
What's your message for all the loyal listeners out there? What should they do? Obviously, we've got social media very active right now. The shows have been great. We've been putting a lot of content out on our social media and on YouTube as well, which is absolutely fantastic. What's your message?
Make sure to follow the social media and make sure to have notifications on because Ian and I have been doing a little bit of flirting with live betting lately, and we've been having some tremendous success. We got Saudi Arabia on the double chance. We got PSV versus Trent, both teams to score in over 2.5. We are cashing tickets consistently that are not on the show, but are being posted as shorts and reels and all that fun stuff on X as well, Ian.
So as Bucket's already said, go share the show. Let this motherfucker grow, please, everybody. It means a lot. This is your show. You're going to play a role all the way to the top. We are not going to take it away from you. We're going to make sure that no matter what happens between now and us obviously getting a partner to grow the show with, wherever and whatever platform it is, Make sure you're doing your best to share the show, to comment. I love the comments, everybody. It makes me all warm and fuzzy inside, and I'll continue to share the best comments out there on our show like I did do today. Make sure you continue to follow across social media platforms, whether it be Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, Twitter. It doesn't matter. We're very active in all four of them. And as Bucket's already pointed out, we're very, very active now on the live betting space. We got some cool things coming up, which I'm pretty excited to share with everybody around live betting. And hopefully we can start to be more creative around live betting. Already you're seeing it on the social media platforms, so jump on there. But as always, bet responsibly, but make sure you do. Like Buckets is going to do on Tinder tonight. Make sure you absolutely have it.